Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today is September 27th, 2023. It's on Wednesday and sunny outside. How are you spending Wednesday? How do you like Wednesday? Do you have a work or school today? Or have you got a day off today? It depends on your schedule. It depends on your schedule. It hinges on your schedule. It's all up to your schedule. It depends on your schedule. Do you have a plan for the weekend? Do you have a plan for the weekend? On Saturday or Sunday? Or you don't have any plans for the weekend? Are you already counting down to the weekend? Are you counting down to the weekend? I used to count down during the class when the class was boring. I used to count down to the end of the class when the class was boring. There used to be a post office at the place where a convenience store is located now. There used to be a rice paddy field at the place where the phone shop is located now. There used to be a rice paddy field where the shopping mall is located now. The teacher used to be more aggressive and strict in the past. The teacher used to be more strict in the past. The teacher used to be stricter than now. Are you used to delivering a speech in public? Are you used to delivering a speech in public? Are you used to giving a speech in public? Are you used to giving a speech in public? Have you got used to having a life there? Have you got used to having a life in the new environment in Hokkaido? Have you got used to having a life in Okinawa? I'm still not used to getting up early. Maybe I will not be used to getting up early forever, eternally, perpetually, for good. I will not be used to getting up early. I will not used to getting up early. I will be not used to getting up early. I will not be used to getting up early. I won't be used to getting up early. I won't be used to getting up early forever, eternally, perpetually, everlastingly, for good. Are you used to delivering a speech in public? Are you used to performing in public? Are you used to giving a speech in the meeting? Are you used to giving a speech in public? Are you used to getting up early? Are you used to getting up early? Are you used to driving in narrow space? Are you used to parking your car in a narrow space? Are you used to parking your car in a narrow space? Are you used to parking your car in a narrow space? Are you used to having a foreign travel? Are you used to taking public transportations in foreign countries? You will get used to the routine in no time because every new employee did. You will get used to the routine in the no, in the near future. I would rather study at home than climb the mountain today, given the hot and humid weather today. I would rather swim in the sea than climb the mountains. I would rather swim in the sea than climb the mountain. I would rather save the payment than spend some of it on something I don't want right now. I would rather save the money than spend it on the party, which I don't want to go. Would you rather save the money than spend it on the party which you don't want to participate in? Would you rather have the lunch in the classroom with little crowded environment than eat the lunch at the school cafe which is very crowded? Would you rather pay a little bit more to secure the comfortability at a restaurant than eat in a crowded place? Would you rather pay a little bit more to secure the comfortability at the restaurant than eat in a crowded restaurant with reasonable prices? Would you rather pay a little bit more at a restaurant to secure the comfortability than eat in a restaurant which is very crowded? I would rather delay my lunch time than eat in a restaurant with a lot of customers during the lunch time. I would rather delay my lunch time than eat in the restaurant with a lot of customers during the lunch time. I'd delay my lunch time rather than spend my time in a crowded restaurant. Please bear in mind that no matter when you go to the restaurant, it is crowded. No matter when you go to the restaurant, it is crowded. Whenever you go to the restaurant, it is crowded. Bear in mind, take in mind that whenever you go to the restaurant, it is crowded. Please bear in mind that whenever you go to the restaurant, it is crowded. Please take in mind that whenever you go to the restaurant, it is crowded. Would you rather go to the tourist spot on weekday than go there on weekends in order to avoid congestion? Would you rather go to the tourist spots on weekday than go there on weekends in order to avoid congestion? I've had enough of yakiniku, so I don't want yakiniku for a time being, for a while. I've I have I've had enough of listening to the music, so I don't want to listen to the same music for a while. I've had enough of yakiniku. I have enough of yakiniku, so I don't want to eat yakiniku for a while. I've had enough of listening to the song, so I don't want to listen to the song for a while. I've had enough of eating the same menu, so I don't want to eat the menu for a while. Hmm. Hmm. I've had enough of listening to your criticisms, complaints. I've had enough of listening to customers' criticisms, complaints. I've had enough of listening to customers' complaints. I wish I were dispatched to another department. I'm not used to getting criticisms from the public. I am not used to uh, receiving criticisms. I will not be used to receiving criticisms from outside forever. I will not be used to receiving criticisms from the public. I will not be I will not be used to receiving criticisms from the public. Hmm. Hmm. I've had enough of visiting the place. I I'd rather go to another place than the same place I have visited more than 50 times. I've had enough of visiting the place. I'd rather go another city. I'd rather go to another city than the same city I've been for more than 50 times. Hmm. I've had enough of the tourist spot. I've enough of listening to your reminisce over the past. You repeat talking over the past over and over again. I've had enough of you dwelling on your past. You talk about it every end of the year at the party. I have enough. I have had enough of listening to your past. I have had enough of listening to you looking back on your days. I've had enough of listening to you, looking back on those days. I've had enough of listening to you, looking back on those days. I've had enough of drinking coffee today. I don't want to drink coffee anymore. I've had enough of coffee today. I've had enough of coffee today. I've had enough of exercise 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 today. I've had enough of coffee today. I've had enough of coffee today. I've had enough of visiting the same place. I've had enough of receiving criticisms. I've had enough of receiving complaints. I've had enough of picking up weeds in the garden, grass lawns. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. Do you have a lawnmower? Lawnmower. I have enough of cutting the grass in my garden. I have enough of cutting the grass, lawn, weeds in the garden. I have enough of cutting the grass. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawns. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. They grow faster than I expect all the time. Their vitality is crazy, awesome, insane. Their growing speed is much faster than I expect. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. Even if I cut the lawn enough, they grow so fast. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. Their growing speed is a lot faster than I expect. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. Lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of the cutting the lawn. I have had enough of the cutting the lawn. I have had enough of 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 cutting the lawn. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. They grow like endlessly. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawn anymore. I have had enough of cutting the grass. I have had enough of explaining the same thing over and over again to you. I have had enough of explaining the same thing to you time and time again. I have had enough of explaining the same things to you time and time again. I've had enough of explaining the same things to you time and again. Time and again. I've had enough of explaining the same things to you. I have had enough of cutting the grass in my garden. I have had enough of cutting the lawn in my garden. I have had enough of cutting the lawn in my garden. I have had enough of cutting the lawn in my garden. I've had enough of cutting the lawn in my garden. I have had enough of cutting the grass. I've had enough of cutting the lawn in my garden. Do you have a lawn mower? I have had enough of cutting the lawn in my garden. I've had enough of explaining the same things to you over and over again. I've had enough of explaining to you time and again. I've had enough of going to the shop again today. I've had enough of shopping there. I've had enough of eating yakiniku. I've had enough of eating yakiniku. I have had enough of eating yakiniku. I've 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 had enough of cutting the grass. 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 I've had enough of cutting the lawn. 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 I have 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 enough of cutting the lawn. I have had 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 enough of cutting the lawn. And we have had enough of starting the domino from the scratch. We have had enough of restarting the domino from scratch. And we have had enough of restarting the domino. Again, we have had enough of starting the domino from scratch after the mistake. I have had enough of cutting the grass. I have had enough of cutting the grass. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. Which do you prefer, coffee or tea? I prefer coffee to tea. I prefer tea to coffee. I prefer swimming in the sea to climbing the mountains. I prefer to swim in the sea rather than to climb the mountains. I prefer to swim in the sea rather than to climb the mountains. I see. You are same like you are like me. You are the same as mine. I prefer playing soccer to watching it on TV. I prefer playing soccer on the field to watching it on TV. I prefer to play soccer on the spot rather than to watch it on TV. I prefer playing baseball on the stadium or field to watching it on TV. I prefer playing baseball on the spot to watching it on TV. I prefer to play baseball rather than to watch it on TV. I prefer coffee to tea. I prefer spending time with a few friends to spend it with a lot of people. I prefer to spend my own time privately with my close friends rather than to spend it in public with a lot of people I don't know. I prefer spending a little money on accommodation to spending a lot of money on accommodation. I prefer to spend as little money as possible on accommodations rather than to spend a lot of money on accommodations. I prefer spending little money as possible on the accommodations to spending a lot on accommodations. It depends on which you put your value on. It depends on which you put your value on. It depends on which you put the value on. I prefer to spend as little money as possible on the accommodations rather than to spend a lot. Do you prefer to be alone? Do you prefer to be alone? Do you prefer to do your homework alone or with friends? I prefer doing my homework alone. I prefer doing my homework alone. I prefer doing my homework alone to doing it with my friends. I prefer to do my homework alone rather than to do it with my friends or teacher. I prefer studying alone to studying with my friends because if there are someone next to me, I cannot concentrate on it. So even my friends can be a distraction. I prefer to study alone rather than to do it with my friends because my friends also can be distraction from my concentration. Hmm. It depends on your personality. I prefer watermelon to melon. I prefer watermelon to melon. I prefer to eat watermelon rather than to eat melon. I prefer summer to winter. I prefer summer to winter. I prefer to spend time in the summer rather than to spend time in winter. I prefer to swim in the sea rather than to climb the mountains in summer. I prefer summer to winter. I prefer summer to winter. I prefer summer to winter. She is my junior by 7 years. She is my junior. She is junior to me. I am her senior. I am senior to her by 7 years. The older car is inferior to the new version regarding the mileage. The new type of the car is superior to the old model as for the mileage. I prefer summer to winter. I prefer coffee to tea. I prefer tea to beer. I prefer tea to coffee. I prefer to eat lunch at a school cafe rather than to eat in a classroom because I'd like to eat fresh food for reasonable prices. I prefer to eat lunch at school cafe rather than to eat lunchbox in a classroom because I can get the fresh food. I prefer to eat lunch at a school cafe rather than to eat in a classroom. I prefer summer to winter. I prefer coffee to tea. I prefer to drink coffee after lunch rather than to drink tea. I prefer to drink coffee after lunch rather than to drink tea. Would you mind closing the blinder? Would you mind taking off your shoes before stepping into the house? Would you mind being quiet a little bit more? Thank you. Would you mind being quiet because other guests are sleeping? Would you mind moving to the lounge to eat and drink drinks? Would you mind going to the lounge for your diet? Because it is prohibited to eat or drink here. Would you mind going to the lounge for the diet? Would you mind going down to the lounge to eat food and drink drinks? Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Would you mind helping me dealing with the problems? Would you mind helping me with my English? Would you mind helping me with my English? Would you mind helping me set up the tables? Would you mind helping me to set up the tables? Would you mind helping me to set up the tables? Would you mind helping me to clean the rooms? Would you mind helping me solve the problems? Would you mind helping me choose the best guitar for me as a beginner? Would you mind helping me search for the best glove for me for the party? Would you mind moving over a little bit more? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. Would you mind moving over a little bit more to the window? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. Would you mind moving over a little bit more to the window? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. It's okay. Would you mind turning off the cigarette? Smoking is prohibited here. Would you mind turning off the fire of the cigarette? Would you mind helping me search for an apartment near the university from your OB perspective? Would you mind helping me search for a new apartment near the university from your perspective, from your OB perspective? Would you mind helping me search for a new apartment around the university from your OB perspective? Sure. I've had enough of eating grape. I don't wanna eat sweets for a while. I've had enough of eating sweets. I have had enough of eating sweets for a while. I have had enough of eating sweets. I have had enough of eating sweets. I have had enough of cutting the grass. I have had enough of cutting the lawn. I have enough of cutting the lawn. I have had 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 enough of the cutting the lawn. I've had enough of the cutting the lawn. I've had enough of cutting the lawn. I've had enough of eating yakiniku. I've had enough of eating yakiniku. I've had enough of explaining the same things to you over and over again. I've had enough of explaining the same things to you time and again. I waited for 3 hours. I've had enough of the waiting. I've had enough of the waiting. I've had enough of waiting. I've had enough of waiting. I've had enough of waiting. I have been waiting for more than 45 minutes. I've had enough of waiting. I have 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 had enough of waiting. Would you mind taking care of my pet dog while I travel to Hokkaido? Would you mind Would you mind caring for my pet dog while I have a trip to Okinawa for 3 days? No, not at all. Would you mind caring for my pet dog while I am having a travel? Would you mind taking care of my pet dog while I'm travel? While I travel? Would you mind taking care of my pet dog while I travel? Not at all. Would you mind helping me deal with the difficult problems? Would you mind helping me deal with the difficult problems? Would you mind helping me deal with the difficult problems? Would you mind helping me resolve the difficult problems? Would you mind helping me resolve the difficult problems? Resolve the difficult problems. Would you mind helping me solve the difficult problem? Solve the difficult problem. Difficult problems. A lady asked me to keep an eye on her belongings while she was at the toilet. Although I met her for the first time and we didn't know each other. Although we didn't know each other, and we met each other for the first time at the train's platform, she asked me to keep an eye on her belongings while she was toilet. Do you mind if I open the window? Do you mind if I get a day off tomorrow? Would you mind if I got a day off tomorrow? Would you mind if I got a day off tomorrow? Do you mind me getting a day off tomorrow? Would you mind me opening the window? Would you mind me getting a day off tomorrow? Would you mind me sitting next to you? Do you mind if I sit next to you? No, not at all. Would you mind if I sat next to you? No, not at all. Be my guest. Do you mind me sitting next to you? Would you mind me sitting next to you? Would you mind me sitting next to you? No, not at all. Would you mind helping me solving the problems? Would you mind helping me solve 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 the problems? Would you mind helping me to solve the problems? Solve the problems. Do you mind commuting to the office 1 hour earlier than usual for the preparation tomorrow? Would you mind coming to the office 1 hour earlier than usual tomorrow for the preparation? Okay. Please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Sure. What that? I'd like to have a word privately with you. I'd like to have a word privately with you tonight. Hmm. Please do me a favor. Could you... Can I ask a favor of you? Can I ask you a favor? Can I ask a favor of you? Can I ask you a favor? Do you mind removing pickles from the bread sandwich? Do you mind removing pickles from the sandwich? Thank you. Would you mind removing pickles from the sandwich, please? Hmm. Would you mind picking me up at the airport if it is convenient for you? If you don't mind, do you mind picking me up at my school after my class? Sure, not at all. Do you mind posting the letter to the post office at the post office on your way to school? Would you mind dropping the parcel at the post office on your way to school? Would you mind posting the letter at the post box on your way home tonight? Would you mind posting the letter at the post box on the walkway on your way home tonight? Would you mind dropping the parcel at the post office on your way home this evening? She said, would you mind keeping an eye on her belongings while she was toilet? She asked, would you mind keeping an eye on her belongings, but she was at the toilet. Do you mind keeping an eye on my luggage while I take a toilet, while I go to the toilet? Do you mind holding the space? Do you mind holding the space while I go to the toilet? Not at all. Would you mind moving over a little bit more to the window? Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. Do you mind moving over a little bit more? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had been taking up so much space. Do you mind lending me the notebook? As I was absent from the lecture, so I'd like to take the memo of what the professor said. Sure, not at all. Would you mind lending me the notebook of the lecture made by the professor, because I was absent from the class because I was sick. I will, if it is possible, I will bring it back to you tomorrow. Not at all. Excuse me, would you mind lending me the notebook of the lecture made by the professor, as I was absent from the class because of a reason? No, not at all. Thank you very much. I will bring it back to you tomorrow. The shining object in the sky I saw last night could have been an unidentified flying object. The shining object in the sky I saw last night could have been an unidentified flying object, UFO. If I sold my second-hand goods at the website, they could have been sold for better prices. If I had sold the belongings at the website, they could have been sold for better prices. If I sold my belongings at the website, they could have been sold for better price. If I had if I had sold the belongings, if I had sold the belongings at the website, at the online website, online shopping site, they could have been sold better for better prices. If I had sold the merchandises at online shopping site, they could have been sold better prices. They could have been sold for better prices. If I sold my merchandises, if I sold my second-hand goods at online shopping site, they could have been sold for better prices. And considering his recent score of the test, he could pass the entrance examination with ease. If I were you, I could ask her for a date. If I were you, I might apply for the position immediately. The icy road today could cause car accidents on the road. Some audiences could throw up milk or juice while listening to the comedy. If you don't want to hurt yourself, please prepare and warm your body up enough before the practice. In order to reduce the possibility of hurting yourself, please have enough preparation before you start your practice. And so as to reduce the possibility of hurting yourself, please have enough preparation before you start your practice, okay? I used to hurt myself by stumbling on the ground. I used to hurt my knee frequently when I was an elementary school student, meaning I was super active. I used to hurt myself frequently by stumbling on the ground. I used to hurt myself on my knee joint. I used to hurt myself on my knee joint by stumbling on the ground. I prepare and warm my body up enough before I start my practice so that I won't hurt myself. In order that I won't hurt myself, for fear that I hurt myself, I prepare enough. Lest I should hurt myself, I prepare enough. In case I should hurt myself, I prepare enough. I don't want to hurt myself. 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 Don't hurt me, both mentally and physically. I was ruined, both mentally and physically at previous workplace. I was hurt myself. I was hurt, both mentally and physically. I used to hurt myself by stumbling on the ground when I was a kid. I would often hurt myself by stumbling on the ground at the school. We should prepare enough before we start our practice, for fear that we hurt ourselves. We should prepare enough in case we should hurt ourselves. We should prepare enough lest we should hurt ourselves. Lest that we should hurt ourselves. Lest that we should hurt ourselves. We should prepare enough lest that we should hurt ourselves. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt myself. Nobody wants to hurt themselves. I would often hurt myself by stumbling on the ground when I was running. I would often hurt myself by stumbling on the ground when I was running. I would often hurt myself by stumbling on the ground when I was running. The best bet is the player will not hurt himself during the season. I hope the player will not hurt himself during the season. I hope the pitcher will not hurt himself during the season. There are some tools available to prevent us from hurting ourselves. There are some tools available in order to prevent us from hurting ourselves. And there are some tools available in order to prevent us from getting hurting ourselves. I don't want to hurt myself. 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 If I hadn't worn the headgear, I could have hurt myself badly. If I hadn't followed the advice from the instructor, I could have hurt myself badly. If I hadn't followed the advice from my instructor, I could have hurt myself badly. If I hadn't followed the advice from my instructor, I might have hurt myself badly. If I hadn't followed the advice from my instructor, I could have hurt myself badly. And there is nobody at the platform. The train must have gone. And since there is nobody at the platform, the train must have gone. I cannot find my sweets I bought yesterday from the supermarket in the refrigerator. Someone must have eaten it. Although I found a couple of cucumber growing in my garden, I cannot find it now. I cannot find them now. They must have been eaten by wild animals. Although I found a couple of cucumbers growing in my garden, I cannot find it. I cannot find them now. They must have been eaten by wild animals. Although I'm calling him, but he is not answering. He must be sleeping right now. He must have forgotten the appointment for the meeting on Sunday. Did you used to play video games as long as me? Did you used to buy a lot of video games as well as me? No, I did not used to play cards. I did not used to play action games, but mostly role-playing game. What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? What kinds of music do you like? What kinds of music do you like? What kinds of food do you like to eat? What kinds of things do you like to do in your spare time? What kinds of things do you like to do in your spare time? There are many kinds of textbooks sold at the at the bookstore, so choosing the best one is instead of tough. There are many kinds of textbooks regarding English, so choosing the best one, choosing the one from a lot of choices, confuse me. There are many kinds of English textbooks in the bookstore or out there, so choosing one is sort of tough. Do you mind me sitting next to you? Do you mind me sitting next to you? Would you mind me sitting next to you? I don't mind. The cashier eating food while doing the duty. Do you mind the cashier eating food while doing the duty? I don't mind you sitting next to you. Next to me. I don't mind. I don't mind you. I don't mind you sitting next to me. Do you mind? I don't mind. I don't mind sleeping in the same room. I don't mind sleeping in the dormitory room. I don't mind sleeping in the dormitory room to save money. I don't mind sleeping in the dormitory room in the guest house in order to save money. I don't mind waiting for you at a cafe attached to the airport. I don't mind the view from the hotel room. I don't mind the view from the hotel room. The price is the most important thing I prioritize. I don't mind the view from the hotel room. I put the most importance on emphasis on the price. I am used to taking public transportations. I am used to taking public transportations. Are you used to taking public transportations? Whole Japan. Are you used to getting up early? No, I am not getting up. I am not used to getting up early. I will not used to getting up early, perpetually, forever, for good. I will not be used to getting up early, forever, perpetually, eternally, for good. You cannot be too careful when you cross the street. You cannot be too careful when you swim in the sea. You cannot be too careful when you drive your car. I cannot say thank you too much. I cannot thank you too much. I cannot thank you too much. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot appreciate what you have done so far too much. I cannot appreciate what you've done for me so far enough. I cannot appreciate it. I cannot appreciate it too much. 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 I cannot appreciate it enough. 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 I cannot appreciate it too much. I cannot appreciate it too much. You cannot prepare too much before the examination. We cannot give away happiness to other people too much. We cannot make other people happy enough. We cannot make other people happy too much. We cannot be too careful when we park our car in narrow space. We cannot be too careful when we drive our cars. You cannot be too careful when you drive your car. You cannot be too careful when you drive your car. Would you mind handing in the report to the boss today? Would you mind giving this document to the employee coming tonight at the night shift, because I'm leaving now? Would you mind handing in this document to the person coming to the office as a night shift tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. because I'm leaving? If you don't mind, would you turning in this document to the employee coming to this office as a night shift at 7 o'clock p.m. because I'm leaving? If you don't mind, would you handing the document in to the employee A when he arrives at 7 o'clock as a night shift? If you don't mind, would you mind turning in giving out, handing in? If you don't mind, would you mind passing the document to the employee S when he arrives here at 7 o'clock p.m. as night shift? Sure. Someone might take away our precious time. The delay of the public transportation took away 1 hour from my precious time. The delay of the public transportation took away 1 hour from my precious time. The thief took away numerous jewelry from the jewelry shop. They shouldn't be get away. They shouldn't be got away with it. They shouldn't get away with it. The natural disaster took away many lives. The natural disaster took away many lives in the district region. AI is expected to take away many current jobs. AI and new technologies are expected to take away many current jobs, which are affecting many industries. AI is expected to take away many current jobs. Artificial intelligence is expected to take away many current jobs. Artificial intelligence, standing for AI, is expected to take away many current jobs. AI, artificial intelligence, is expected to take away many current jobs. Artificial intelligence is predicted to take away many current jobs. The event is scheduled for Sunday. The event is scheduled for Sunday. The globalization took away many businesses from the country. To a certain extent, to some degrees, to some extent. The big shopping mall took away many local businesses. The big shopping mall established in the region took away some businesses from the district, from the local businesses. Ending up some local small and middle-sized shops closed. Ending up some small and middle-sized shops closed. Don't take away children's dream. Don't take away children's dreams by making them lose confidence, motivation, and so on. The natural disasters took away many lives in the district. The natural disaster took away many lives in the district. The heavy rain took away the possibility of the sports meeting on Sunday. The heavy rain took away the possibility of the event holding on Sunday. The heavy rain took away the potentiality of the sports meeting holding on Sunday. The heavy rain, the predicted heavy rain took away the possibility of the event being held on Sunday. The predicted heavy rain, took away the possibility of the sports meeting taking place on Sunday. The thief took away with some jewelries from the jewelry shop that they were arrested soon after. I took away good memories from the trip. I took away good impression of the country. I took away a good impression of the country. I took away a good impression of the beautiful beach of Okinawa. The gambling took away as much as 5 million yen from the person. The casino took away 1 million yen from the guy. The fancy watch took away a quarter of his salary. The fancy watch took away a quarter of his yearly salary. The fancy watch took away a quarter of his yearly salary. The fancy watch took away a quarter of his yearly salary. The fancy car took away his yearly salary. The fancy car took away his 2-year salary. The fancy car took away his 2-year salary. The fancy car took away his 2-year salary. Do you think I should take on the job offer? Do you think I should take on the offer? Do you think I should take on the battle? Do you think I should take on the match? I don't want to take you on with a food battle. I'm definitely lose. I will definitely lose. I don't want to take you on with a food battle. I will definitely lose. I will absolutely lose. I don't want to take you on with a food battle. I will definitely lose. I will definitely lose. I will definitely lose. I will definitely lose. Definitely lose. I shouldn't have take on such a difficult duty. I'm super nervous now. If I fail, I will have to pay the penalty, loss, and so on. I don't know how to assume responsibility for the mistake. I shouldn't have taken on the difficult duty. If I fail, if I make a mistake, I don't know how to assume the responsibility. It's a very high responsibility. I shouldn't have taken on the job of the difficult offer. Since if I make a mistake, I don't know how to assume the responsibility. It's a high responsibility. I shouldn't have taken on the difficult job offer. If I make a mistake, I don't know how to compensate for that. I don't know how to make up for that. I used to like the planes taking off from the airport, but now I've had enough of it. I used to like looking at planes taking off at international airport, but I've had enough of it. Do you like to see planes taking off at the airport? Yes, but I used to. I've had enough of it. I have had enough of it. Please take off your shoes before stepping into the house. Thank you for your cooperation. Taking off gentlemen suits instead of tough after coming back home. Wearing and taking off suits instead of tough. Tiring. Wearing and taking off suits instead of tiring. Both wearing and taking off suits instead of so tiring. Both wearing and taking off suits itself tiring. Both wearing and taking off suits instead of tiring. Both taking off and wearing suits is instead of tough, tiring. Both wearing and taking off suits are instead of tough. Both wearing and taking off suits are tiring. I usually put my wallet in my pocket of my trouser so that I can take out money easily. I think many people do that. I think many people put their wallet in the pocket of the trouser so that they can take out money from it easily. But we have to watch out for theft. For here, what to go? Do you prefer to eat inside or take it out? Do you prefer to eat at a restaurant or take it out? During the pandemic, many restaurants or food industry started to take out food business. During the pandemic, many restaurants started to deliver service. During the pandemic, many restaurants started to have delivery service. Do you prefer to eat at the restaurant or take the food out? Do you prefer eating inside or taking them out? Do you prefer eating on the spot or taking them out? Excuse me, can I take out the leftovers? And is the plastic bag for a fee or free? Can I get some plastic container? Excuse me, can I take the leftovers out? Can I take out the leftovers? Sure. Excuse me, can I take out some leftovers? And can I get the something like the container? Can I get some container? Excuse me, can I take out some leftovers? Can I take out leftovers we couldn't eat? Can I take out leftovers we couldn't eat? Sure. And can I get the container? Plastic container? And some people put their wallet in the pocket of the trouser so that they can take out money easily. And some people put their wallet in the pocket of the trouser in order that they can take out money easily. In order that they can take out money easily. I will take out some money from the bank account for the weekend. I will withdraw some money from the ATM today. Being able to take out some money from the ATM attached to the convenience store is very convenient. Can I take out some leftovers because we couldn't finish it? Excuse me, can I take out leftovers? And can I get the something like container to bring it home? Sure. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Do you prefer to eat inside or take them out? Do you prefer to eat inside or take them out to the balcony? Do you prefer to eat inside or take them out to the balcony? Do you prefer eating here inside or taking them out to the balcony? Maybe it's good weather to eat outside. Do you prefer eating here or taking the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat inside here or take the food out to eat outside? It's good weather to eat outside though. Do you prefer to eat here inside or take the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer eating here inside or taking the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat inside here or to take the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat inside here or to take the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat inside here rather than to eat outside by taking the food outside? Do you prefer to eat inside rather than to take the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat inside rather than to take the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer eating inside here or to do you prefer eating inside here or to taking food out to eat outside. Do you prefer eating do you prefer eating inside here to taking the food out to eat outside? Do you prefer eating inside here to taking the food out to the balcony to eat outside? Do you prefer eating here inside to taking the food out to the balcony to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat inside rather than to take out the food out to take the food out to the balcony to eat outside? Do you prefer eating inside to taking the food out to the balcony to eat outside? Do you prefer to eat lunch here inside rather than to take the food out to the balcony to eat outside? Please take out sadness from me. Please take out sadness from me. Please take out all of the worldly things from me. Please take out all of the sadness from me. Excuse me, can we take out leftovers we couldn't finish? Excuse me, can we take out the food we couldn't finish? Sure. Excuse me, can we take out the leftovers we couldn't finish? Excuse me, can we take out the leftovers we couldn't finish? Excuse me, can we take out the leftovers we couldn't finish? Excuse me, can we take out the leftovers we couldn't finish? Excuse me, can we take out leftovers we couldn't finish? Sure. Can we take out the leftovers we couldn't finish? I will take out lab computer to the destination. I will take out my laptop computer to the cafe so that I can work on the duty with a cup of coffee today. I am going to take out my laptop computer to the cafe today. I am not going to take out my laptop computer to the workplace today. I am not going to take out my laptop computer to the cafe today. I will go only with my wallet. What made you wanna be a physician? What made you wanna be a surgeon? The committee consists of some specialists of various fields such as ecology, geology, archaeology, anthropology, and so on. Ecologist, ecologist, ecology, ecologist, ecologist, ecologist. The entity is made up of some specialists from various fields such as ecology, ecologist, ecologist, ecologist. My parents often warned me not to go further when I was swimming in the sea. My parents often warned me not to go further when I was swimming in the sea. My parents often warned me not to go far when I was swimming in the sea. The environmentalists warned that more unprecedented natural disasters will happen. Arouts come about. The specialists warn that more unprecedented events will happen at this rate. The experts warn that more unprecedented events will happen at this rate. The specialists warn that more unprecedented events will happen, come about, arouse. Some experts warn us that the earthquake will happen within 30 years, not minutes. Some specialists predict that the earthquake will happen within 30 years. Some experts warn that the big earthquake will come about within 30 years in the district. Some specialists warn that the big earthquake will come about within 30 years in the district. The meteorological agency warns that flooding might be expected in some region. The meteorological agency warns that torrential rain is expected in some areas. The meteorological agencies has warned that heavy rain is predicted in some areas. The meteorological agency warned that torrential rain would be expected in some areas. The meteorological agency warns that flooding are likely to happen due to the torrential rain in some regions. I remember the teachers warning us of the importance of our life before summer vacation started. I remember teacher warning us of the danger of the ocean time and time again before summer vacation started. I remember teacher warning us of the danger of swimming in the sea before summer vacation started. Time and time again. Time and time again. Time and time again. Time and time again. Over and over again. I remember teachers warning us of the danger of swimming in the sea before summer vacation started. I remember teachers warning us of the danger of swimming in the sea over and over again, time and time again, time and time again. I learned that the amount of petroleum and other fossil fuels are not infinite. I learned that the amount of petroleum and other fossil fuels are not infinite. Petroleum station, gas station. I hope we can get to the petroleum station before our car runs out of the gas. Before our car running out of the gas, I hope we can get to the petroleum station. Petroleum, gas, petroleum. Which do you use? Petroleum or gas? Petroleum, gas, petroleum. The friendship with somebody can also be a curse. most of the problems stem from the relationship with somebody. Water can be also curse. Fire also can be a curse. Water can be a curse when the amount is too much, when the amount becomes too much, like river, ocean, and so on. Playing is not only fun but also a curse. Intaking sugar is not only blessing but also a curse. Intaking sugar can be not only blessing but also a curse. Drinking alcoholic beverages can be not only blessing but also a curse. Water can also be a curse. Water can be also a curse. Fire can be also be a curse. Fire can be also a curse. Fire can be cursed too. Fire can be also a curse. she ate not only the set menu A but also set menu B after. The rich have houses not only in Japan but also in other countries. The rich person has many houses not only in Japan but also in other countries. Our relationship with people can be a curse. Our relationship with others can be a curse. Curse. Our relationship with somebody can be a curse. I guess most of the problems are coming from relationship with somebody. I guess most of the problems stem from the relationship with people. I think most of the problems are derived from people relationship. I think most of the problems out there derive from human relationship. Working overtime every day will be a curse. Not following the law will be curse. Speeding will be a curse. Not following the rules will be a curse. Not following the instructions will be a curse. Not following the instructions will be a curse. Not following the directions will be a curse. Not following the instructions will be a curse. Not following the instructions will be a curse. Not following the instructions will lead to a curse. Not following the instructions will lead to a curse. Lead to a curse. Not following the instructions will lead to a curse. Kyoto is rich in history, historical places, relics, and so on. Kyoto is abundant in historical places. American continent, European continent, Eurasian continent. Have you ever been to American continent? Have you ever been to Asia continent? Tokyo and other urban cities are abundant in entertainments, shops, and so on. Urban cities are usually abundant in many shops, many kinds of shops. Urban cities are usually abundant in entertainments. Coals and oil included in fossil fuels. What are the fossil fuels? What are the objects defined as fossil fuels? What are the objects defined as fossil fuels? Are coals and oil defined as fossil fuels? Are coal and oil regarded as fossil fuels? Are coal and oil defined as fossil fuels? Are coal and oil defined as fossil fuels? Are coal and oil defined as fossil fuels? Are coal and oil regarded as fossil fuels? Are coal and oil defined as fossil fuels? The mountain is rumored to hold many minerals. The mountain is believed to have many minerals, but it is not legal to excavate by law. The country is relatively warm, although the latitude is higher than that of Hokkaido. Thanks to the monsoon, the country doesn't have much snow and relatively warm because for the high latitude. The region is relatively warm throughout the year thanks to the monsoon. The region is relatively warm even in winter thanks to the monsoon. Kyoto is rich in historical places. Kyoto is rich in historical places. Kyoto is rich in historical places. Tokyo is rich in many entertainments. Akihabara is rich in electrical shops. Electric appliance shops. Akihabara in Tokyo is rich in electrical shops. Mineral resources. Do you believe the mountain has a lot of mineral resources? Do you believe the mountain has many mineral resources? Mineral resources. Mineral water. Mineral water. What is the difference between normal water and mineral water? Do you buy a bottle of mineral water at a convenience store? Or do you prefer to buy a pet bottle of juice to mineral water? mineral, 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 mineral. A country with a lot of resources, a lot of sources, natural resources. A country with a lot of natural resources. A country which is abundant in many natural resources. Mineral resources, 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 mineral, 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 mineral resources, mineral resources, mineral resources, mineral resources, mineral resources, mineral, 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 magnesium, mineral. Mineral, mineral. Do you believe the mountain has mineral resources? Do you believe the mountain has mineral resources? Mineral resources. Do you believe the mountain has mineral resources? Do you suppose the mountain has mineral resources? Do you believe 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 the mountain has mineral resources? Mineral, mineral, mineral. Do you believe the mountain has mineral resources? Mineral, mineral, mineral water. Do you believe the mountain has mineral resources? Male students account for about 2/3 of the university. 2/3 of the population of the university. Male students account for approximately half of the population of the university. Female students account for approximately half of the population of the university. Female students account for approximately a quarter of the population of the university. Female students account for approximately a quarter of the population of the university. Female students account for approximately a quarter of the whole population of the university. 3/4 of the day account for study for the students. 4/5 of the day account for study for the students. Most of the time in a day is devoted to playing video games for him. You have to account for what you have done and why it led to the mistake. You are to be accountable for the mistake. You have to account for the mistakes, why it happened, and why you couldn't avoid it, and so on. As far as I know, JA stands for Japanese agriculture. As far as I know, JA stands for Japanese Agriculture, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Federal Bureau of the Investigation. Federal Bureau of Investigation. As far as I know, FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Investigation. If I use a fertilizer, does my agricultural production be improved? If I use a fertilizer on the soil in my garden, does my agricultural production be improved? How can I improve my agricultural production in my garden? If I add some fertilizer on the soil in my garden, does it help me to grow more harvest? If I add a fertilizer on the soil in my garden, can I have good harvest? Does it lead to better agricultural production? If I add some fertilizer on the soil in my garden, does it lead to better agricultural production? How can I make the soil more fertile? How can I make the soil more fertile? What can we buy? Can I buy something at the gardening shop to make the soil of my garden more fertile? Are there some tools to make the soil in my garden more fertile? Can I buy such tools in the gardening shop? Fertile soil will lead to better harvest. Fertile soil will make the crops to grow more. Fertile soil will help the crops to grow more. The fertile soil will help the crops to grow more. Fertile soil helped my crops to grow more in my garden. Fertile soil helped my crops to grow more in my garden. Fertile soil helped my crops to grow more in my garden. Now fertile soil helped my crops to grow more in my garden. Fertile soil in my garden contributed to my crops growing so fast and so much. Water is indispensable for our life. If it were not for water, we could not live. If it had not been for water, we could not have lived. Oxygen and hydrogen are indispensable for us. Oxygen and hydrogen are both indispensable for our life, because as far as I know, water, H2O, is composed of the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. what oxygen and hydrogen are indispensable in our life because water is composed of the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Mm. Water is indispensable for our life. Imperative, indispensable, imperative, imperative. Indispensable, 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 indispensable. In order to get used to the humid weather, the athletes are running in the humid room for the competition. In order to get used to the humid environment, the athletes are running in the humid room before the competition. In order to make the environment closer, the athletes are training in the humid environment in the hall. In order to approach the environment as closer as possible, the athletes are training in the humid condition in the room. In order to train in a similar environment as possible, the athletes are training in a humid hall, automatically reproduced humid room. In order to mimic the humid environment in the country, the athlete in the country are training under humid condition in the room. Scratching his head when he is under much pressure is characteristic of him. Scratching head is his characteristic of him. Scratching head is the characteristic of him when he getting too nervous. Scratching head is characteristic of him when he is under trouble. Scratching head is characteristic of him when he is in trouble. Looking up at is a characteristic of him. He is thinking over deeply. Looking up is the characteristic of him when he is in deeper thinking. Looking up is the characteristic of him when he is thinking deeper. Looking up is characteristic of him when he is thinking deeper. Looking up is characteristic of him when he is thinking deeply. Looking up is the characteristic of him. He is thinking deeply. Scratching head is a characteristic of him when he is in trouble. Talking to the pet dog with cute voice is characteristic of her when she is alone. Talking to the pet dog with cute voice is characteristic of her when she is alone. Talking to the pet dog with cute voice is characteristic of her when she is alone. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.